Kike Hernandez returns to the Dodgers, and that opened a flood of tears from grown-ass men. Austin Ekeler finally gets to learn what his value really is, and LeBron James tells us all to lay off his kid. Good morning. I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the faithful Angelenos Morning Report. So it is February 27, 2024, back home with the wife. I'm going to enjoy my time with my wife, but first, we're going to start the day off right by talking LA sports, and if you like being in the know about LA, clickety-clack the like button, clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notification bell, hit that, it'll let you know when we drop new content. Sharing is caring, let people know we exist, and by all means comment. You already know I love hearing from you guys. Before we go through the news and notes, let's take a quick look at the scoreboard. Edmonton 4, Kings 2. And I'm disappointed. I just am. This allowed the Oilers to snap a 3-game losing skid. Trevor Moore and Alex Laferriere scored. Meanwhile, tonight, Kings have a chance to get back on the schneid. They're going to be at Calgary at 6 o'clock. But we got a lot of news to get to. So what do you say we get started? I'm not an emotional man. Don't get me wrong, when I was a kid, I wept like a little punk. But as a man, not nearly as emotional. And I bring this up because the Dodgers executed a couple of transactions yesterday that brought all the feels out of the Scribes. Oh, so many feels. It was just flowing all over, kind of made you sick to look at it. It was kind of like if your wife forced you to watch all of her favorite movies while REM's Everybody Hurts played on a loop in the background. So, here's what the Dodgers did. And I'm not saying they're bad moves. It just got a little bit too drippy with the feels from the Scribes. The first thing the Dodgers did is they traded outfielder Manuel Margot to Minnesota for a prospect. Fine. Totally fine. Then they went out and they brought back Kike Hernandez on a 1-year deal for $4 million, and out came the Hankies. Everybody in the sports press became men who were not afraid to cry in public. Kind of creepy. Oh, they brought back Kike. Isn't it beautiful? And I'm just saying, look, guys, let's just deal with reality. That's all I ask. Can we deal with the reality? It, first of all, suggests with the money shifting around that LA trimmed about $4 million off the payroll. Okay, big whoop. But the use is that Hernandez is a utility guy who can face left-handed pitchers and provide production and give a day off to, say, Gavin Lux, Max Muncy, James Outman. That's great. That's all. That's significantly much more flexibility than what Margot could have offered. So again, cool. Now it is a little bit of a surprise because the Scribes just as recently as 48 hours ago were projecting that Hernandez was going to the Giants, the Angels, the Padres. But like John Cusack in the 80s rom-com Say Anything, there was Andrew Friedman holding up his boombox, and that was all she wrote. Now, according to Ken Rosenthal, the bow tie guy, the Dodgers were hyped to find a taker for Margot because they preferred Hernandez in the first place. In these transactions, LA also gets a shortstop who should get to the majors in Noah Miller. Miller played in Single A last year, so he is a couple of years away. But here's the upshot. Scouts say his defense alone is going to get him to the majors. But even with work on his swing, he is at best a bottom of the lineup guy. Maybe Cesar is Tourist 2.0. But the Dodgers, again, bring back a fan favorite. Now, to the surprise of absolutely nobody, the Chargers are going to let Austin Ekeler test free agency. And to be honest, part of me thinks that they let him do it just out of their own perverse amusement. I mean, do you remember last offseason, right? Ekeler tried to claim that he was one of the elite running backs in the game and wanted to squeeze millions upon millions more out of the Chargers. And meanwhile, the Chargers looked at him and said, look, if you want to find more cash, go kick rocks and find a trading partner. Which, by the way, he couldn't. So now he's a free agent, and the Chargers are probably sitting back in the front office going, oh, look, isn't that cute? He's going to find out what he's really worth. This ought to be hilarious. Bring the popcorn. I don't dispute the fact that there are a lot of running backs out there who are underpaid. But you got to counter that with what I remember. I grew up in a golden era, a golden age of running backs. Eric Dickerson, Walter Payton, Barry Sanders, Earl Campbell. I'm old enough to remember Bo Jackson and how his career, which should have been surefire Hall of Fame, was cut short. Those type of running backs. Straight up warriors. Austin Ekeler has never rushed for 1,000 yards, then he plays air guitar. What are we talking about, guys? And besides, the Bolts have the fourth worst salary cap situation in the NFL. They are $25.6 million in the hole, according to Over the Cap. By the way, Joshua Kelly is also a pending free agent, so it wouldn't surprise me to see a completely different running back room for the Chargers in the fall. In other Chargers news, or former Chargers news, I should say, Brandon Staley has been interviewed for the vacant San Francisco defensive coordinator gig. Former Chargers offensive coordinator Kellen Moore has landed a similar job. He's going to be the offensive coordinator in Philadelphia, which is kind of hilarious. I mean, not because the dude worked for the Bolts, but because before that he was the offensive coordinator in Dallas. Does anybody think that the city of brotherly hate is going to accept anybody who took a paycheck from Jerry Jones? Let the hilarity ensue. I can't wait. I've long said that you have to come to terms with the fact that with LeBron James, and adding to that LeBron James as a Laker, is going to lead to a lot of pointless drama, right? It's been that way with LeBron ever since before he was a professional. ESPN would send camera crews to watch this guy play in high school. And then they would catch his mom screaming cha-ching with every basket. We've been putting up with over 20 years of LeBron James drama. So why are we surprised that there's more? The drama has obviously spread to the next generation of Jameses. Now, I'm not trying to claim that Bronny James's heart condition was scripted like it was reality TV, but yesterday ESPN issued its first NBA mock draft. And Bronny James, who is a freshman at USC, was listed 39th. And that led to a lot of speculation in the Twitter sphere, right? To which LeBron finally had to add his 2 cents. He sent out a bunch of tweets. Can y'all just let the kid be a kid and enjoy college basketball? Then he tweets again. The work and results will ultimately do the talking no matter what he decides to do. If y'all don't know, he doesn't care what a mock draft says. He just works. Earned, not given. All caps too. And sentence fragments. Literally, LeBron was tweeting like he was Donald Trump. But to LeBron's credit, at least he didn't tweet cha-ching. Here is the problem, and it's not a huge problem, but it is something that we have to acknowledge. After the Lakers lost to Memphis this season, James tweeted out that his son, quote, could play for us right now, unquote. First of all, no, he can't. He can't. And that's not a knock on your son. He's not ready. In other words, LeBron is once again playing puppet master, not just with the Lakers, but with his own son's future. Bronny James as a freshman, and I'm not saying he's a bad dude. He's just not making much of an impact with the Trojans, and he's getting far more hype than anyone else on the roster, and that includes a surefire NBAer, a potential lottery pick in Isaiah Collier. So the first time Bronny James gets evaluated, and LeBron James is literally acting like he is the first $1 billion Little League dad in human history. Lay Off My Son would carry a lot more weight if he didn't put the spotlight on his kid in the first place. That's all I'm saying. The Clippers have revealed a new logo and uniforms yesterday. And honestly, it's a mixed bag. I don't like to just blindly hate. Honestly, the uniforms are nice. They are. Clean design, bit of a throwback vibe, right? Definitely an upgrade from the current gear. I mean, the Clippers pretty much have two uniform sets right now. One looks like something that you would see out of a youth camp, and the other has this old English script, like if Death Row Records owned the team. But the logo, the logo that they have now, or that they just debuted, literally kind of looks like, I look at that logo and I hear Celine Dion singing While the Titanic Sinks to the Bottom of the Ocean. That is an ugly looking logo. It's really bad. I don't mean to be a hater either, because clearly Steve Ballmer is living his best life, loves owning this team. But he did not address the fundamental issue with why the Clippers usually have ugly uniforms or ugly logos. It's the team name. This team was named by the previous owner's love for yachts. That certainly resonates with the common man, right? That resonates with the rest of us who work 40 hours a week just to get by. I mean, seriously, how elitist can you get? Former Clippers owner Donald Sterling was known for two things. One, his love of yachts, and two, hating black people. Let's be honest. You know it and I know it. Donald Sterling did not like black people. And I hate to say it. We shouldn't be people. We shouldn't be hating on each other like that. That's kind of obvious. Donald Sterling hated that. Of all the things about LA, how snobbish can you be, right? How do you make a uniform that makes yachting look badass at Rucker Park? Any name would be better for them than the Clippers. You could name them the Los Angeles Paw Patrol for all I care. That would still be better than the LA Clippers. It's not my fault they used to be owned by a racist. What am I supposed to tell you? College football players have arrived in Indianapolis to prepare for the upcoming NFL Draft Combine. And for those of you who don't know, I've been to Indiana. I feel sorry for every one of them. But if you are a UCLA fan, make sure to keep a positive thought for former edge rusher Laiatu Laitu. I've read all kinds of projections for the guy. Some of them claim that he is the best edge rusher in the draft and should go top 10. Others are like, wait a second, he's had health issues. Maybe he goes in the second round. The health issues are legit. He was forced into medical retirement in 2020 for a hit that he took during practice, which led to neck surgery. But the dude's passion for football kept his career alive to where he became the nation's most feared pass rusher. He had filled notebooks with concepts of rushing technique. He's very much into the little tiny, what little edge can I exploit to my advantage thing, whether it's against what the quarterback is going to do or what the offensive tackle is going to do. And not only that, did he just keep all these ideas on what he was going to do if he was able to come back. He would go to practice, right? But he was non-contact. He wasn't supposed to participate. Coaches would find him and literally rip his helmet away so that his teammates would be reminded not to hit the guy. This is a dude who loves football. Former Bruins defensive coordinator DeAnton Lynn called Laitu, quote, a pro in college, unquote. So keep a happy thought for the guy. I mentioned the Chargers salary cap situation a moment ago, so to be fair, we'll talk about the Rams. They have the 12th best. They currently stand at $39.9 million in cap space. Now, if you've read about the Rams, you'll hear a little bit about roster cuts that they could create to make maybe $70 million in cap space. Now, I don't know if they will, but if they do something like that, can we speculate for a moment? Just speculate. The Rams, when they were making their Super Bowl runs, based their defense off three players: Aaron Donald, an elite defensive back, and a top-notch edge rusher. So because of these ideas, you are hearing pundits speculate that the Rams will draft defensive back. But Rams history suggests that they don't draft high at corner. Do you remember? They traded for Jalen Ramsey. Before him, they traded for Marcus Peters. Then what they did was they would also trade for edge rushers, such as Von Miller, Dante Fowler Jr. They did sign Leonard Floyd, but you get the idea. So my point is, do the Rams have enough trade capital in terms of draft picks? Do they have enough free agent space to land both a defensive back and an edge rusher who are elite? Not potentially elite, who are elite. But you let me know what you think in the comments thread. Did you, in fact, shed tears over Kike Hernandez coming back? What would you pay for Austin Ekeler? And if you enjoyed the content, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We're talking LA sports every single day here. Thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Corte El Queso production. Take care.